Hello everyone, I'm going to be talking about the inconsistencies between Hogwarts Legacy and the Harry Potter books. First of all, in 201, let's find out.
4 Hogwarts houses, Gryffindor, to attend classes, and you do have Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw or Slytherin. After you settle into your dormitory, you will meet up with your housemates in the common room. You will then need to attend classes, and you do have some catching up to do, as you are starting Hogwarts late, as a 5th year.
Okay, this is the first inconsistency. So this dude, Jacob, not Jacob actually, sorry, that is Hogwarts Mystery. This dude, whoever he is, starts in his 5th year. This is not possible according to the books, because the Quill of Acceptance and the Book of Admission would have saved his name on the parchment, which detects any magical ability when he's a kid. So you know how Harry does magic when he's a kid? He had his name down on the Hogwarts list before he was actually going there. So this dude should have been on the admission list before he was 11 years old. So him joining in 5th year doesn't really make sense. I mean, there's examples with Harry doing magic as a kid. He was running away from bullies, especially Dudley, and he just finds himself on a roof. And then he makes the glass disappear as well. Voldemort does the same thing when he's a kid, obviously does some messed up stuff instead. I think Voldemort killed someone's bunny rabbit, that is pretty intense to do. Anyway, second mistake is 227. Oh, we just went past. Right here.
Class, please welcome the newest rose in our garden.
Shall we begin? Welcome to year 5 of charms. Now,
okay, it's right here. So on the board we can see the charms on the charms class list, and Expecto Patronum is on the list right here on the 3rd one. However, the Patronus charm is said to be really hard to perform, and these guys are only in the 5th year, and we know from Harry's 5th year that the Patronus charm wasn't taught at Hogwarts. And especially, even the Dumbledore's army members like George and Fred, who'd already graduated Hogwarts, was the same age to graduate it, but dropped out, had not known the Patronus charm. So they clearly didn't teach it to even 7th years, considering Fred and George were in their 7th year. It's the same for Cho Chang. She didn't know how to do it. She was older than Harry, so at least 5th year. I think she was in her 6th year when this happened, because she was 1 year older than Harry, which means the Patronus charm shouldn't be there unless it's only really there for decoration. I don't really see much use for being there. There was also another spell, Lacarnum Flamare. This is an only film spell. It's never mentioned in the book. It's mentioned in the film by Hermione. She casts it in Philosopher's Stone, I think. Yeah, she does it to cast Snape's robes on fire, if I remember correctly, and I do. Oh yeah. Anyway, coming to the other mistake is 329.
Here you'll
One sec.
be able to explore the castle famous for its secrets, enchantments and mysteries. You'll discover dungeons and secret passageways.
Okay, this is the one. He uses Accio. Obviously,
As well as
you can
enable
see this
secret
again.
passageways.
Okay, Accio is a summoning charm. Yeah, you have to summon an object to you. He's using himself to go there rather than summoning the thing to himself. it's a pretty minor detail. I don't think it changes the game too much, but it isn't what the spell does. The spell's supposed to take something and get it to you, not make you go to that thing. It does the opposite of what it's supposed to do. Yep. Let's see. Oh, next mistake is 6:15. Sorry, no.
Is this true?
Right here. I mean, I don't think anyone that's only watched the movies will know this, but this spell obviously looks like Avada Kedavra. I'm sure they'd know this. But the next bit, Avada Kedavra can't be counted in the books, so these two like connecting shouldn't be allowed unless his wand and his wand have like twin cores, which is why Voldemort and Harry's did it. That's the only way it'd be allowed, and I really don't think these two have the same wand cores. Like, it's pretty rare. It's very, very rare. So, yeah, I think there's a mistake that continues the movies, which also did the same mistake, where they allowed Avada Kedavra to be counted. Yeah, it looks much better visually, but it is a mistake. Next mistake is 6:23.
Possess unique enemies possess unique defense.
Okay, this like kind of minor because he didn't really do too much damage to it, but like his spells aren't supposed to really affect it anyway, because trolls have thick skin. Like simple spells like this, like he did a stupefy, I think, and then he did the freezing charm. Like they shouldn't be able to affect the troll. It has too thick skin. And then I'm going to be explaining Accio again, because he does Accio on a person, which shouldn't be allowed. That is on 6:41.
Defensive and offensive abilities, including blasting curses, stunning spells, enchanted weaponry, and more. While some may attack directly, others might enchant and incapacitate you. Mastery of the shield charm allows you to deflect ranged spells and direct weapon strikes.
Look, he just summoned someone here.
And direct weapon strikes.
Yeah, he just summoned them to him. He's gonna do it again.
Counterattack with powerful stunning charms, allowing you to follow up with
Yeah, look, he pulled him again. Like he yanked him. So that's not supposed to be allowed. The only spell we know to do that is Accio, obviously to summon someone or well, yeah, that's the main point. He can't summon someone to him. According to the books, this only showed with like alive creatures. It never works on humans. It doesn't work on Hagrid, but then again, you can say he's a half giant, and certain spells don't work on him anyway. But it's never seen with humans. It's technically not a like factual mistake, but because there's no evidence, it's not allowed. And then obviously J.K. Rowling says it's not allowed as well. She says it's only for inanimate objects. Although the books obviously counter this, because he does summon flobberworms, and then in Tales of Beedle the Bard, a donkey's summoned. And there was one more, let me find it. Oh yeah, and then Teddy Lupin summons a salmon from the river. So it's not just inanimate objects, but according to the wonderbook Book of Spells, which J.K. Rowling had input in, it's only stuff that are like not that important that can be summoned. The quote is, where is it? Let me find it. Oh yeah, the quote is, "The summoning charm is ineffective on most living creatures, and those that can be summoned are rarely worth summoning. So I don't think a human is rarely worth summoning, and it does state flobberworms as the example, which is a pretty small living being. So I don't think humans can be summoned in the Harry Potter series, but obviously there's no example to prove it or disprove it. Hagrid is the only one, and he's half giant, so it might not. It could be argued his thick skin prevented Accio from working on him. Yeah, so I'm gonna move on from this. It's an argued point for most book fans, but it's not a complete mistake. Okay, moving to the next one, 705.
Students who become particularly adept at spellcasting will
Okay, that just lagged, so.
allowing you to follow up with extended spell combinations.
Okay, we're getting close to it now.
Students who become particularly adept at spellcasting will find many ways to exploit their enemy's weakness.
Oh, look, this is the one. He just levitated a, living being. It looks like they're living beings. Wait, let me just... I mean, wherever they are, they are, human-like, aren't they? Or zombies. I don't know what they are, honestly. They don't look like normal beings. They look like inferi in a way. But they're not crawling. I'm just gonna call them zombies, but, yeah. He's not supposed to be able to do that. Wingardium Leviosa, Mobile Corpus, and Levicorpus are the only ones that allow levitating someone. But Mobile Corpus is more for lifting a bit above the air, and definitely not in that way. And Wingardium Leviosa directly says you can't do it on people. I'm gonna give quotes from J.K. Rowling and the Wonderbook Book of Spells, through which she gave the input on. So it basically says this. In response to the cat calls, Hobart, which is a character in this game, tried to move in midair and started performing vigorous swimming movements, which produced no effect. Mistakenly believing that his clothes were making him heavier and impeding his movement, Hobart stripped, thus making him fall 10 feet onto the ground below, as it were the clothes that were holding him up in the air. They had been charmed by the levitation charm, no, not Hobart himself. He fell completely naked on the ground, breaking 16 bones, and went on to receive a fine for outrageous silliness from the chief warlock. So this explains it pretty clearly. It can levitate the clothes they're wearing, although these dudes don't seem to wear clothes.
Students who become particularly...
I don't know why it's lagging. Okay, I'm gonna give it time to load.
Students who become particularly adept
Oh my god.
at spellcasting will find many ways to exploit
I
their
don't know
enemy's
what is
weakness.
going on. Why is it lagging so much? Okay,
Students who become particularly...
They do look like zombies, by the way. I don't know exactly what they are, but they don't really have too much clothes on, and they do have some clothes, but as this thing explains, they can't really go that far up. It says, mistakenly believing that his clothes were making him heavy and impeding his movement. So he was having trouble actually levitating because of his own body weight, yeah. So these people should not be able to move that far up, considering, well, yeah, considering they're pulling the clothes down. So it shouldn't work. And then if they're doing Levicorpus, well, obviously they're not upside down, so this one could not be Levicorpus, but the next example is, I'm guessing. It's the only way it makes sense. So this is a mistake. Wingardium Leviosa should not work on this person. There was one more thing I was going to mention on Wingardium Leviosa, which I need to find because it's mixed up with Levicorpus. Oh yeah. So Voldemort and Snape can fly without any aid, and this like exaggerated throughout books because no one else can do it, it's only them. If Wingardium Leviosa allowed such a thing, then them flying without aid wouldn't be so uh, glorified. If anyone could just make anyone fly, then this wouldn't be such a special thing. Like they could just make themselves fly then, using Wingardium Leviosa. But clearly it doesn't work like that because it requires more skillful magic, as Voldemort and Snape are the only people who can do it. Yeah, this bit's a mistake. Moving on to the next one now.
Adept at spellcasting will find many ways to exploit their enemy's weakness.
Okay, I think I just skipped it. Oh no, I didn't. Skip this in a second.
Slam with Descendo. Roast with Incendio. Devastate your enemies using various finishes.
Oh yeah, that's that one, yeah.
You can even use them as...
So it looks like he puts him upside down, whilst doing it. So
Roast with
this one looks
Incendio.
like Levicorpus in the second round.
Devastate your
This
enemies
one.
using various finishes.
It looks like he pulls him by the ankle. So he just keeps on slamming him. And he always looks upside down.
You can even use the Mysterious...
Look again. Levicorpus does that, but the problem is, it would actually make sense if Levicorpus was a spell, because it does exactly what the spell does. Levicorpus is the only one that can actually lift a human being up, or like an actual being up. Like Wingardium Leviosa doesn't work, as I explained earlier, and Levicorpus doesn't do it to that extent. Levicorpus is the only one that matches it, but the only problem is the spell wasn't invented yet. Snape invented Levicorpus, and Snape was born in the 1900s, obviously, yeah. Well, this game is in the 1800s. It's clear that, it's not invented yet. So due to this, let me find Snape's actual... Yeah. Because it was invented by Snape, and they're in the 1800s, and Snape was born in 1900s, mid-1900s, so there's no question to it. The spell cannot be used because it wasn't invented yet. I think these are all the mistakes I caught in the game trailer. I think it was a rather successful game. It looks really nice. I want to play it. I just wanted to make this video because I hope they like fix some of them. Obviously not like, I don't mind them fixing like certain stuff, like the wand cores and the two spells connecting. I mean, those are like film mistakes, but they've kind of become... I mean, they are visually pleasing. I'm not gonna argue against that. Like, they do look nice. But I hope they do like a different spell for the summoning, like instead of Accio, because that was done wrong. And then hopefully they say it's not Wingardium Leviosa for the other thing, because it doesn't match the qualities of Wingardium Leviosa. And I hope they say it's not Levicorpus, because Snape wasn't alive yet. So it's more of a video to introduce certain mistakes that have risen in the trailer and give them a chance to... Well, I don't think they'll see this video anyway because I don't have enough subs, obviously. But yeah, just to give the mistakes and, well, inconsistencies, sorry, not mistakes. Inconsistencies in the game and the books to be presented. I think these were it, I've done them all, I believe. If you have found any more in the books and the game, then please do let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching the video, bye.